Welcome to the world of world-class 9-ball, this time brought to you from the Eurotour in Petric, Bulgaria. 2022 is the year this was played, and this is a match between Eklent Kaci and David Alcaide, two of the very top European pool players, and you may also say two of the very top of the world pool players. We're playing a race to 9 balls racked on the spot, so Kaci is going to be attempting the cut break. And he is pretty adept at the cut break, I can tell you that, as that was a nice example of. However, the 1 and the 2 were made, and his view on the red 3 is disturbing. So, is he going to guide the cue ball, cut the 3 on the right, guide the cue ball behind the into the 6? No, yes. Into the 6 behind the pink, ideally. There's a little check if that worked. It kind of didn't, I think. Okay, they can see the potting angle, meaning he needs to hit at least 3/4 ball on the right side. And I think he's able to. So, chance for first blood for David Alcaide. Oh, just hit it too thin, but he may get away with it somewhat. Alright, as Kaci sizes up this 3 ball, but position on the pink 4, far from automatic. I mean, is he going to play position to play the 4-6 combination? I think he will, solely because the 8 ball can kind of make it a slightly bigger pocket. Yeah. Let's have a look at what happened on the road towards this clash between these two gentlemen. David Alcaide won his first match in the first winners round. Eklent, however, lost to Yannick Pongers 9 racks to 5. So, and if you lose in the first round of a 256 double elimination schedule, that is whittled down to 16 from the winner's side and then 16 from the loser's side get drawn against the 16 winners. That means you have to win like, well, we'll check it out, 5 matches at least, I think, to get to the last 32. In his losers section, as Alcaide laughs with Eklent missing the 3 ball but not giving away a thing, bar the kick shot. Eklent won his first losers round. Let me just scroll down the results here. A lot of matches to be played. His first losers round, Eklent won 9-3 against David Zalman, was that it? No, Mark Szabo from Slovakia. And then Eklent won 9-1 against Saki Kanatlar from Turkey. And in losers round number 4, so that's the third losers round match Alcaide had to play, he beat the very well-known Nikos Economopoulos, trying to make a comeback, which as of yet hasn't yet shone through in the results. I bet Nikos would agree with that. Of course, Nikos, a former Mosconi Cup winner, as Alcaide is trying to make short work of this rack and not get into any more trouble. So that was losers round number 4. Losers round number 5, Eklent beat Daniel Guttenberger from Austria 9 racks to 6. David Alcaide in his third match beat Georgi Georgiev 9 racks to 8 to qualify for the last 32. And then we had the losers qualification, and then Eklent Kaci beat his fellow countryman Besa Spayu, who is also making a climb up the European rankings, 9 racks to 4. Right, so that got these gentlemen into the single elimination stage. Sorry if I missed that. David didn't really get through that rack without any trouble, and it's Eklent Kaci going to be taking first blood in this match. So then we had the last 32. David Alcaide beat Luca Men 9 racks to 5. And Eklent Kaci beat Davy Pergiovanni 9 racks to 4 to get into the last 16. Yeah. And then Eklent Kaci beat Jonas Sotu 9 racks to 0. Whitewashed the young Spaniard 9 racks to 0 to get into the quarterfinals. And David Alcaide beat Mohamed Soufi, who's also a regular occurrence in the single elimination stages. And here we are, quarterfinal stage of the Bulgaria Eurotour Open in 2022, quarterfinal time, to get amongst the fantastic 4 remaining players out of about 250. That would be a pretty neat feat. So, Alcaide undercutting the 1 ball. Alcaide sporting the blonde hair that him and his World Cup of Pool teammate FSR, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, promised. That's the color they promised. They would make their hair go if they'd won the World Cup of Pool, and that's what they did. So Kaci gonna play safe, cutting the 1 on our left side as thin as possible, bringing the cue ball behind the blue 2, or okay, never mind. Trying to get behind the orange 5-4 situation, didn't get there. So what would you do if you would be Alcaide? Trying to get the same thing done as Kaci tried? It's hard to cut this ball and not make the 1 ball move in front of the right side pocket, but that's a very good attempt. Well played there. And this kick is not easy because the 2-3 in the way of the right rail kick and the 9 ball in the way if he were to kick 1 rail. So he's going to try to come 2 rails, hit the bottom rail closest to us before he hits the 1 ball. A lot of left spin needed. Ooh, just brushed that 1 ball, and look at that result. Ooh, maybe not. Still showed up the 1 ball. So this rack, most likely all about the battle for the 1 ball. Without any clusters to speak of, the winner of this safety battle most likely will be the winner of this rack. Although Alcaide had the first clear chance in rack number 1 and failed to take it home. Alright, so purposely kicked the 1 ball, didn't want to kick it like that per se. Wanted it to end up safe. Now you can hit the blue too, but there's no future really because both balls will kind of be traveling the same direction. Or is he able to hit it thick enough? Okay, he's able to bank it down table. Still gonna leave a window of opportunity for Kaci. Good safety games here. I mean, not necessarily well executed, but I like these safety exchanges. I hope you do too. So he could bank the 2 past the 3 ball. That would be very attacking. Still, that 4-5 forms a pretty good wall of balls. Where if you get behind there, the 2 ball can roll almost anywhere this side of the table. He went for the attack. Ooh. Just good enough. Good hit by Kaci. Nice. I think he figured the safety was just as hard as the attacking option. And then often these players will go with their potting prowess. Okay. Bit of a wrong angle on the 4, but I think he's going to stun the cue ball full into the 5, sending the 5 towards it. Okay, never mind my view of this table. So of course Alcaide has been a top European player for a long time, although only in the last, what was it, like last 10 years, 5 years has he really begin to really, really, truly mature into a tournament, or a major tournament winner, of course, winner of the World Pool Masters, double winner. Kaci on the other side of the spectrum, one of the younger generations, although he looks fairly big for his age. And I don't mean big-bodied, but just a tall gentleman. Alright, trying to cut the cue ball straight to the left rail and back out to the center of table for hopefully a shot. He's hoping to make that corner ball. Cue ball. Ooh. And it was a pretty good break, I have to say. I think he got kicked somewhere along the line and gained some extra speed. Okay. What do we see here? A straight in position on the 2 would give him an excellent shot on the red 3 into the right side pocket. He might still choose to go differently if he doesn't end up straight. Would like to be center table for position on the orange 5. So that's what he's working towards, ideally. Ooh, never mind. Let's talk about the 3 ball first. Ooh, is that potable past the brown 7? Hard to see from our view, isn't it? Yeah, I think he's going for it. Play position for the 5 in the same hole. Or 5 in the side pocket. Good recovery there. Now, I don't think he can make the 5 in the side and stun the cue ball past the 9 ball for position on the 6. So we might play the 5 in the top right corner pocket. Cue ball with top left. I mean, those pockets are fairly accepting, I have to say. They're bigger than a 4 1/4 inch, that's for sure. And with either a brand new or a fairly new cloth, jaws are fairly accepting. So Kaci, one of the elder statesmen of European pool elite, and also now feared worldwide. Kaci, one of the younger statesmen of the European elite, and also feared worldwide. It was unbelievable, like 3-4 years ago when Kaci first came on the scene, in my eyes, or in the winner circle when you won those World Pool Series tournaments. And really let it be known that he was an important player for the European pool future. Alright, can he cut this 2 ball in? Theoretically he can. If you're faced with this angle, your cue ball will always go straight into the rail you're closest to, and therefore come straight back out, so it would zigzag across right to left. But in order to make the 2, you're going to have to hit the cue ball hard. So the cue ball might go 1, 2, 3 rails at least. Or is he just going to play safe? Yeah, so back and forth it is. So 4 rail position there. And now in a pretty good line. Natural follow through on the pink 4. We'll bring his cue ball to the right center area of the table, which is great for position on the orange 5. Wow, it's an active bottom rail there. See, as he points towards the bottom rail. I did it saw it in my previous match from this Eurotour. These rails are bouncy. Now that can sometimes happen if you have a lot of air conditioning nearby or in the building. Sometimes if it's raining outside, cushions can all of a sudden become very jumpy with the extra moisture in the air, and that automatically goes into the cushion rubbers. It's almost unimaginable, but it's true. Ooh, undercut the 5 ball. So bad start by David Alcaide to this match, failing to win rack number 1 when given the chance, failing to win rack number 4 when created the chance himself. Kaci will happily mop these up. So it can either be straight on the green 6 and draw back ever so slightly for the 7. Usually pool players would like to work with a bit of an angle, whereby the current object ball is still easily pottable, but the cue ball is maneuverable to both left and right sides, because now he can kind of only draw back, which in this case, if he brings it back to where his cue ball is now. Alright, so tip below center, will drift his cue ball, stun his cue ball just above the 9 ball on the left rail, and back out. Slight angle requirement on the 8, don't get straight in. And that will do. Doesn't need to have straight in position on the 9 ball, of course. I think about 10 centimeters to the left of where he is now will do the trick. Or he will follow it through, it looks like. Zip. Right, so Kaci going to be taking a 3-1 lead. Race to 9 only, remember. And this is a chance to get into the semi-finals. Okay, so Kaci to break. Trying to make the orange 5 ball bottom left. He's trying to hit the 1 ball not full on, just slightly to the left of center of 1 ball from where we're looking, and drawing his cue ball to the left rail. And that is a pretty good hit. Good speed. Wants to bring his cue ball back right about where the blue ball is now for position on the 3. So needs to apply a lot of bottom left spin to avoid hitting the green 6, avoid going into the top right corner pocket. Or is he rolling it into the 6? It looks like he's not aiming low, or just below center. He's going to roll it. Yeah. If you're faced with a potting angle like this, your cue ball will travel about 90 degrees of the potting line. So the potting line is straight towards the side. The cue ball will therefore travel straight down table, and then with a bit of left spin, back to center. We'll probably draw it around the black 8. Never mind. That will work just fine. We'll want about a 10-20 degree angle on the brown 7. Or no angle at all. Alright, so Kaci. Nice speed around the table. It's nice to see, you know, quarterfinal stages of tournaments. Players have won a few matches, have had some battles. They're kind of like definitely warmed up. And it's nice to see these stages of tournaments, in my opinion. You know, first rounds can sometimes bring a bit of the jitters. All right, Kaci, 4-1 ahead. Almost halfway to victory. Let's see what Alcaide can do. Can he make the green 6? No, but he made the pink 4. A bit of a rumble in the middle of the table. That's a... Oh, he didn't make the 3-point rule. See a lot of the clashes in the middle of the table, and therefore he only made 1 ball, and he needed 2 more points. I'll quickly try to explain the 3-point rule that is in operation here with the break. To counter players breaking really soft, you have to collect 3 points off the break, which you can do by making balls or by making balls roll past the line from where you're breaking. Alcaide made one ball and potentially made another ball past the breaking line, and therefore only collected 2 out of 3 points, giving control of the table to his opponent, who then can still choose to give it back had he been snookered or something, but he had a good enough shot to attempt. Right, so after a good one ball from Kaci, is he going to play the 3-5 combo? Otherwise, he has to cut the 3 ball on the right, send that to the north middle of the short rail, and the cue ball 2 rails, try to get back to where he's standing now, to find cover behind the brown 7 and the 9 ball. But with a 4-1 lead, I think he's going for it. It's a fairly straightforward aiming process, therefore I think he's going for it. Thinks he can be accurate enough, but no. What a difference. 5-1 or potentially 4-2. I mean, that's future predicting. Of course, Alcaide still has to make that happen. Alright, good safety in that respect. He didn't give away the jump shot. As you can see, we're speeding up through the racking times and through the longer thinking times to give you more pure pool playing time, which I quite like about the Billiard Network. Just sliced the 3 ball, and look at this. Whew. Well, I think he actually tried that. Well, he offers his hand in apology. Maybe not quite like that, but yeah, maybe he thought he was going to get a thicker hit. Wow, so see, that's the thing, if you play safe, I mean, not that Alcaide 2 shots ago could have attacked in a very smart manner, or in a way that he thought he could get success, but if you play safe, at least you're bringing your opponent back to the table, and they can hit the ball and get away with it, snooker you, or even fluke the ball, and so if you can help it, you don't even want to see your opponent back at the table with a chance to cause damage. Got a clear view of the 3 ball. Okay, so tester this needs to apply tip of left spin, which helps in making the 3 ball, and would bring his cue ball straight across for position on the orange 5. Okay, never mind that. Well, that'll work like that. So remember, Kaci already beat Alcaide's fellow Spanish team member 9 racks to 0. So maybe David a little bit out for a revenge, which is not working out at the moment. So once the stun draws cue ball just below the right side pocket, hit the rail there. That will give him a doable shot. Not ideal, but he knew that already, that he was going to be faced with some kind of angle, either towards the corner on the 7 ball or towards the side. Can roll this in and then bring his cue ball back to where the 7 ball is now for position on the 8. He's going to stun it just below the left side. Okay. And it's Kaci's break. Remember, he's been breaking pretty well. Let's see if he can make the orange 5 and get a shot on the 1 or the 2 or the 3, whatever happens to be the lowest ball on the table. Ooh, a bit of an overcut. Did collect the 3 points. As you can see, the red, the green and the black passed the breaking line. As he only made 1 ball, he needed 2 of those balls to pass the breaking line. Has he got a shot on the 2? Right in between the 9 ball and the 7 ball? I doubt it. If he doesn't have the shot, where would you push out to? I mean, distance is always a good thing. Cue ball on the rail is always a good thing. Trying to create a cluster is always, is often the best thing, but more often than not very hard in a 9 ball rack to make a cluster happen in a safe way. So he's pushing out to give David a 2 rail kick or a 1 rail kick. I don't believe you can see the 2 ball. So it's a pretty daring push out. Swiftly given back by David. So I think Kaci wants to come through this bottom left corner, 2 rails. Try to hit the 2 ball fairly full on, send the 2 ball back towards, to get it behind the black 8, or at least towards the middle of the top rail. That's what his aim is. As you can see, a lot of balls to find cover behind, so even if it doesn't go to your plan, as long as you make a legal shot, there are a lot of ways you can get away with it. Even like this, you may still get away with it. Okay, that was hit way too thin, so a tactical victory for David Alcaide. Good choice in giving that back. Now let's see if he can get into a bit of a groove, potting and position playing wise. It's his break after this, I note. So could he win this rack? Might be able to string 2 racks together and then 5-3, you know. Race to 9, all to play for, I'd say. Now, as I saw, he really rolled that very softly. He hit it at the thickness he wanted to make it. It's just these dynamic rails are really, well, just A bit bouncy, and B, one rail is often faster than another. Okay, so Kaci needs to draw this nicely, I think, unless he wants to stun it hard or follow it through. Yeah. Good shot. Never easy to hit that 4 ball. Or you can hit that 4 ball in a lot of different ways and still make the 3 ball. That was good. So Kaci's playing pretty well. He's fairly straight on the 4 ball. So almost is forced to play the 5 ball in the top right corner. So stun draw into the bottom rail. What is he doing? Top right? I mean, the top right option would be preferred, but the 7 ball is a big ball when your cue ball comes out of that bottom left corner 2 rails. Good shot. Yeah, this is a bit of an in-betweener, this angle, because he can't really hold the cue ball in the line he has let's say he wants to have position on the green 6 in the line where the orange is now, but it's hard to draw it back to there. Or he has to stun it to cross table. Yeah. Now, in making the 6, he will avoid hitting the black 8, I think. He'll then come out of the corner. Okay, he might play it like that, because the 9 ball's in the way of a center table position on the brown 7. So maybe a tip of right spin will make the cue ball roll towards the left side pocket. That works great. So top spin should bring the cue ball back to where it is now or thereabouts, or a little bit further, for position on the 8. I mean, I can't remember seeing David Alcaide playing nicely position and running out anywhere in the last half hour, so it's kind of all been Kaci. 6-1 his lead is. Needs 3 racks to get into the semi-finals. Overcut that break by Alcaide. Is it illegal again? Illegal again, because he made a ball, but only the 8 ball passed the breaking line. So now Kaci gets control of the table, but could still give control back to Alcaide if he wants to. Both players can push out. I think Kaci is already thinking if he rolls the 2 in and plays position on the red 3, kind of in the line from the black 8 to the 3, that line, then he would have an angle to pop the 3 into the pocket where his cue ball is now and break open that 4-6 cluster. That's what he's going for, ideally. Yep, okay, we ended up 2 straight, so I think we'll just make the red 3 and play safe on the off of the pink 4. He's looking at it now, how he can best achieve that. He draws his cue ball back 1 or 2 balls, and he might be able to cut the 4 into the green 6, leave the 4 ball where it is now kind of, and find cover behind the 9. Oh, he's looking at the 4-9 combo. It needs to travel all the way to the left side of the table. Okay. Yeah, not easy. He's gonna... I don't know what he's gonna do. Did he hit the 9 ball first? I mean, his body English... Okay, he didn't. So he really cut the 4 so thin. Alright, so... Okay, with a chance to pot a few balls. It's been a while. He's got quite a way to go to even turn this into a close match, but... And of course, alternate break. You go 6-1 down. You know, you always give your opponent will be breaking half the time, so there's always a chance you may not get a shot in that rack, or that rack might be dominated by the breaking player. As again, cue ball traveled further than David was expecting. I think a bit of an active rail situation again. Should be able to cut this in and automatically get position on the 9 wherever he ends up. Anyway, the comeback starts here, David. Both of these players will have won a match from being 6-1 down and will have lost a match from being 6-1 down as well, as Kaci concedes the 9-ball. I think he's going to take a timeout while we fast forward that. Back with rack number 9. It is Kaci breaking though. Trying to guide his cue ball straight to the left rail and back out. Trying to make the one in the right side. Orange 5, bottom left. Made the 1-ball. Made the 3-ball. Okay, so good break. It's either one of those 2 balls they're going for, the corner ball or the yellow in the side. The opposite side from which they're breaking. Sometimes they make both, sometimes they make one. So let's see if you can keep this rack without creating any problems, because at the moment he's in ideal position, of course. Position on, and again, see his cue ball rolled on way further. Oh, unbelievable. The only place in the table where he couldn't make that 4-ball. That's crazy. Wow, tried to make it rail first. That is unbelievable. I mean, and he didn't hit that 2-ball that hard. It was just after the cue ball, after coming off the second rail, coming off that second rail, it was like it didn't lose any speed. Now on any table in the world, any normal table, if you hit a ball into the rail at 5 miles an hour, it will come out of every subsequent rail a little bit slower. But it's like sometimes these rails will make the cue ball just come out just as fast as it goes in it. And that's, well, you know, should be theoretically impossible, but with very bouncy rails, it isn't. Sometimes you see that in snooker as well, isn't it? Anyway, Alcaide won't mind. Quality position required to get his cue ball for a nice shot on the brown. Okay, well, 3 balls to make it 6-3. It will be David's break. You know, making back to 6-4. A bit of momentum, a bit of Kaci feeling aggrieved by that bounce of the cue ball, and that he couldn't hold position on the pink 4, which was hanging over the pocket, which may linger a little bit, that disappointed feeling in Kaci. You never know. So here we go, 6-3, Alcaide trails, race to 9 to get into the semi-finals of the 2022 Petric Bulgaria Eurotour. Okay, made a legal break, which hadn't happened twice in a row. But still, he overcut him. Didn't make the one in the side. One came off the knuckle and traveled to this south side of the table, which doesn't happen often. Cue ball behind the brown. Will it reach? Yes, no, no. Yes, no. No. Don't think so. So Kaci using a towel and a little bit of time to just gather himself and get back to winning ways after that disappointment of the previous rack. So a stop shot would do, in a way, for a shot on the 2. I don't think he's going to get cute and try to draw the cue ball back to center table. Saying that, what a shot. Almost overdrew his cue ball. That being said, he's got an excellent position. Nice and close anyway. Maybe a bit more angle than he wanted. But he's going to bring the cue ball out of the top left corner, short rail, long rail, and then spin towards the center of table. The only thing he needs to avoid is the snooker behind the orange. So nice and snug into that top left corner, and any kind of spin would always give him a shot. These pool players often use rails as landing spots which give him position. Now if he can bring his cue ball to bounce into just below the left side pocket off of the second rail, that would always give him position for quite a few revolutions of that white ball. 1, 2. See, and this was stunned a bit too much, I'd say, and he will agree, because bridging over this 5 ball is not what he envisioned. So a little bit out of sorts, Kaci, where he was playing so well in the first part of this match. He's so hard, and all you need to pay attention to is really striking the cue ball in the center line to not swerve it. Ooh. Does the brown 7 pass the 8? If not, this might not be easy to get. The best he can do is draw his cue ball off this 5 ball just south of the left side pocket and accept a bit of an angle on the 7 ball. As close to the left rail, just below the side pocket, is where he wants to be. I think that's what he's attempting anyway. Never mind. Well, he does the same thing but with the follow through. So kind of needs to accept a tiny bit of punishment, meaning he would have rather had a bit straighter 7 ball, but this should still be very doable. Bit of left spin to spin around the 8 ball. Can choose which side he wants to come on for position on the 9. Either side would need a tip of left or right. Okay. Still needs a bit of aiming on this, and a bit of quality on this 9 ball though. For a 7-3 lead for Kaci, race to 9. Let's go. Alright, Kaci to break. He hasn't had an illegal break yet. Alcaide has had 2. 8 ball bottom left, 1 ball right side pocket. Check those out. And if they don't go, check out where they miss. That's what these players will be paying attention to. And if they don't make them for a few times, ooh, late arrival. The last rolling ball on the table found gravity. If these players don't make any balls from a certain side, they will be able to switch sides. And all top professionals are able to break just as well from the left as from the right side. But sometimes tables just give up balls easier, meaning balls go in easier from a certain side of the table. Don't ask me exactly why. It's also to do with the rack. One side of the rack may just have a tiny gap in between the balls, whereas the other side may not. Although with these templates, those situations are few and far between. Ooh, banker to start things off here. Now he's got a cuttable too, but that would turbocharge his cue ball, and he wouldn't be able to hold position for the pink 4. Could just tuck up behind the pink 4 and send the 2 ball to the rail, but really wants to plant his cue ball stuck against the pink 4 to possibly take away the direct natural kicking route for Alcaide. Taking off his extension, which he normally plays with. It's not easy with this elevated. They should have a normal rest as well. Ooh, careful now. Did he give away the cut? I don't think he did, but he gave away an easy kick. Just having a really precise, close look if he can make it, but I don't think he can. So he wants to stop his cue ball, the kick and stick. Didn't really stop his cue ball though. Got a fairly safe 2 ball. Well, not that either, really. I think Kaci's going to go for this. The alternative to making the blue in the top left corner pocket position far from guaranteed, because he has to travel past like the 9 ball, the 8 ball, the 6 ball to get position on the pink 4. You could also cut the left side of the blue and send the blue to stick somewhere near the orange and bring his cue ball back down table. I think that's what he might try. It's a safer option. A lot of balls to hide behind. Ooh, overcut it. So went for my firstly described attacking option. Just couldn't make it work. Good slice of that 2-ball by David. Nice roll and bump on the pink 4. So, can David run this out and get back to 7-4? Well, not like this. Even with his cue ball having a little bounce off that short rail and rolling further than I thought it would, his line of cue ball was so bad that he still doesn't really have an easy shot. Extreme cut. Look at the bounce. And look how that cue ball keeps rolling. It's kind of like it has like a, you know, like a three cushion carom cloth, which is often a Simonis 760, and a pool cloth is a Simonis 860, which has a bit more wool percentage in it, I believe, and therefore is a little bit slower than a carom cloth. Okie dokie. David El Matador Alcaide taking things back here, trying to close the gap. Kaci concedes the 9. That was a good cut break finally, but I mean, you can't win games like this, let alone matches. But look at this 4-8 situation. It should form a theoretical combination, but I think it needs to be that 8-ball needs to be cut fairly half ball or less to make it by that 4-ball, which means that his 4-ball would run away from that area. First things first. Now I would draw the cue ball 2 balls back on the left rail to shoot the 3 in the side. You kind of have position. He's kind of going away from position and having to create it again, which he didn't really do. Now he can cut this in, zigzag his cue ball in a Z fashion and try to open up the pink-black cluster, because he might not be able to hold it. The 3 needing a certain speed on the cue ball to reach the pocket. Is he even going for this? Is he banking it? Oh, people, what is he doing? Yeah. So after ball in hand on the 2, needs to play safe on the 3. Very disappointing. David's definitely going to hit this either by traveling through the sky or by kicking it. Wants to draw his cue ball. Hit it on the right side and brings cue ball back here. 3-ball to the north side of the table. Well, David's on 2 fouls. Will we see Eklent attempting the 3 foul here? He could send the 3 towards us and draw his cue ball back behind the 8. Yeah. If he's playing safe, he wants to leave the 3-ball as far out to the middle or the openness of the table as possible. Don't leave it near a rail, because that makes it an easier, bigger chance to hit for Alcaide. I would say that between professional players, if you get 3 foul, it's almost a little bit, tiny bit embarrassing. But this is extremely hard to hit, and we'll need to come over at least, as you can see, Kaci pointing 2 fingers up at Alcaide. You're on 2, buddy. David's gonna have to hit at least 3 rails to hit this ball, and then needs his cue ball or any other ball on the table after contact to hit another rail. Now David is an excellent kicker of the ball. Has extensive carom and three cushion knowledge. Spaniards do in general have a good knowledge of the rails. Slide. No, that's 3 fouls, which is a rarity. That won't have happened all but a handful of times in this whole tournament, I think. Okay, Kaci to break on the hill. Needs one more for a place in the semis. Corner ball made, 1 ball made, 2 ball made. Will have a shot on the 3 as well. Now, I said this a few racks ago. Will he be able to, from this position of being fairly in line, be able to keep this a problemless rack? You know, it hardly ever happens. And there's always some kind of adjustment players have to make in their positional play. Kaci's just having a look if he can even hit the 3 ball on his right side to be able to make it. Could also bank it. That's a bit weird of a shot to play. Okay, this will do the trick. As long as the 6 passes the 7 ball. Could also super slow roll this 4 ball in. This cue ball will stop somewhere near the top right corner pocket. Okay. Ooh, that is unbelievable. And automatically gives the rack away. Okay, they still had 4 or 5 balls to make. That's alright, said Kaci. Pissed off he is. Leading 8-5 and will still not be happy with his performance. Of course, in the end, the result is all that matters. But it's also the way you perform, you know. Okay, so 4 racks in a row needed for David Alcaide to win this match. That would be a surprise, but stranger things have happened out at sea. No legal break, only 1 ball made in the side and only the 8 ball past the line where the players are breaking from. He's got an excellent shot on the 2 ball. The 3 does pass the pink 4. Can he get there? Ooh. Does it pass the 5? Well, that's a bit of an in-betweener, but I think he can shoot it in the side. Yeah, I guess this match an example, of course, you know, pros make mistakes, pros lose their temper. It's all about how quickly you can gather yourself and use every new moment as new and get clarity of thought, clarity of focus to perform in a sufficient manner again. Alright, so Kaci 4 balls away from a place in the last 4 remaining players of this tournament. That all looks good. Wants to follow his cue ball for a straight in shot on the brown 7. Stop his cue ball for a shot on the 8. Wow, so 3 illegal breaks from Alcaide also cost him, didn't they? Where he wasn't able to keep control of the match, let alone break and run out. So draw the cue ball back just towards the right side pocket. Alright, David concedes. Kaci into the semi-finals. We thank you for joining us. And my name is Rico Diks, and we will see you soon for another Billiard Network pool video.